Damn!
The graveyard shift.
Oh, God, this is bad.
Hey, it's not that bad. Yeah, 1990's Graveyard Shift is critically dismissed, pretty much universally, but I'd say this is one Stephen King horror movie worth digging back up. Bachman, yeah, that Bachman, Mill is looking to expand production, and doing that requires clearing out the sublevels and basement of the truly ancient yarn factory that it is. The work is hard and the environment is brutally hot, filled with the fuzz of cotton and even furrier rats, which prowl and watch from every dark corner of the giant building. But it's not just the rats you have to worry about. There's something else in there, something lurking, something that might snatch you up, and I don't mean that pervy boss Warwick either. Workers aren't showing up for their shifts. Surely they're just quitting work like a newbie at a Walmart, right? No. They're not just quitting this mortal coil, right? Who can say when you're working the graveyard shift? Yep. So, The Graveyard Shift as a movie lacks any sympathetic characters. They're all either assholes, abusing rats, or even worse, bosses that abuse women. Even the main character is taking cans to our furry little friends, so there's not a lot of good animal scenes in this movie. There are a lot of wet, distressed rats in the movie. At least the surfing scene's kind of funny, but then they're still blasting rats around, and you're just like, hey man, rats have feelings, come on.
Now, we don't do better than minimum to start. 4 weeks before the union comes knocking at your door.
We also have some truly atrocious accents in this movie. I'm not sure what the boss Warwick's character is doing, but he sounds like the Pembridge farm man fell off his horse and carriage and spent 20 years living in New Orleans.
11 to 7. The graveyard shift.
It's a bad accent. Trying to imitate Stephen King's iconic New England dialects that he writes in his books. What's weird is that you catch other characters trying to do the accent too, like the main character, but the main character is supposed to be from West Virginia, so it's like, why are you doing the accent now? Why is it coming and going? It's weird. It's weird. Maybe there should be a Stephen King book about people's accents coming and going, and we could try and figure out what, alien ship is causing that issue. That said, as a horror movie, Graveyard Shift is exceptionally accomplished in certain areas. The beastie in the pits that's snatching up people is as slimy and slinky as a xenomorph, and it's accompanied by great special effects from X Smith Inc. and Gordon Smith. The setting and sets are absolutely pitch perfect, probably the best part of this movie. Even the topmost levels of the yarn factory are grimy and scuzzy. They look like a horrible place to work at. And this reminds viewers of every crappy job they've ever busted a sweat in. It certainly reminded me of some. Pure filth. But the real magic is found deeper, as the basement and eventually cavern beneath the yarn mill are uncovered. You see, there are dark, labyrinthian depths, filled with wet corpses, skeletons, dead ends, and ends, most deadly, underneath all of this. You've only seen sets this good in your nightmares, to be quite honest. So while taking in these sights, I felt that Graveyard Shift would be an exceptionally Lovecraftian movie. It is Stephen King, after all. He's known to refer to Lovecraft quite a few times. If there was just some discussion of the mill's troubled past, weird noises and lights, a character reading papers, revealing a history of weird deaths, discovering in a rollaway desk a journal from the yarn mill that details the troubled dreams had by anyone who falls asleep on the job while, processing that cotton. It would be pretty Lovecraftian. However, as close as this movie gets with scenes of people reading through old papers and discovering dusty old desks and opening them, it just doesn't quite reach that Lovecraftian level. They stop just before they do something like that. I kept expecting it and then they didn't do it, and I was sad. I was really sad. However, the uncovering of a huge pit underneath the yarn factory filled with skeletons denotes the details that were probably in that journal that never existed. A history of problems down at that there mill. I guess, we'll have to take this as our history lesson that wasn't explored in other ways. Still, it's a missed opportunity. It feels like Stephen King was trying to make his own version of, the rats in the walls, where a man, hearing what he believes to be rats in the walls of his renovated mansion, discovers that the family house he inherited is just one of many additions to an ancient site that's been dedicated to murder, genocide, and worship of things. Still darker. Yet things being as they are, while stuffed with rats, Graveyard Shift is not the rats in the walls. Really, it's just a demented vehicle to enjoy Brad Dourif as 1990's long-lost Ghostbuster, the Vietnam surviving exterminator. Brad Dourif's performance is really the sweet spot of this movie. It's creepy and not really related to what else is going on, but it's certainly a set piece. It's interesting. I will always remember this movie for being the horror movie that had a rap song at the end using quotes from the movie. It's just neat. I just like that. It always stuck with me. The Graveyard Shift. It just stuck with me. I have to give Graveyard Shift 3 rat burgers out of 5. There is some extreme potential in here for a remake, I believe. You just have to get dirty, really practice your main accent, and be willing to work the Graveyard Shift.
You got a problem? I ain't got a problem. You got a problem? Show's over.